Good morning. Today we are going over math packet number 2. It is due on October 17th. So as we're going through this review, you can be working on it. You can refer back to this video. It will be on my YouTube channel. So make sure that you're going back to it. If you need help, come see me if you have questions on it. Our first page, the 0-degree longitude line on our globe runs through Greenwich, England. So that's at 0 degrees. For each 15 degrees east of it, it advances 1 hour. At noon, so it's 12 o'clock p.m. At noon, Greenwich, at noon in Greenwich, what time is it in Manila, Philippines, if its longitude is 120 degrees east? So think at 0 degrees, it's noon. What time is it at 15 degrees? 1 o'clock p.m. What's going to be my next degree that I write, Madeline?
30.
30. I'm increasing by 15 degrees each time, and I'm increasing my time by 1 hour each time. So what time is it at 30 degrees? Hannah?
2 o'clock.
2 p.m. Is it important that we do the p.m.? Yeah, because we want to make sure we know it's not a.m. How far across do I need to do my pattern, Layla? Till I get to where? Till I get to 120 degrees. So keep doing your pattern across till you can figure out what time it is at 120 degrees. So you're just going to continue that pattern. So I'm not giving us time to continue the pattern right now because this is a video. You can always come back to the video. You can always come back to work on it. Let's look at our next page. Sarah has party, holiday, bridal shower, and wedding invitation. She has blue, yellow, and red envelopes for them. So how many different invitation and envelope combinations are there? So if we think about it, she has party invitation. What color envelope could she put that party invitation into, Zelda?
Red, maybe?
Maybe red. Now she has another party invitation. What color invitation or what color envelope could she put that in, Liam?
Blue.
Blue. Then she has another party invitation. What color envelope could she put that in, Madeline?
Yellow.
Yellow. There are 3 envelope colors. So that was for the party. Now we have her holiday invitations. What color envelope could she put that into? Layla?
Blue.
She could put it into the blue. She could put it into the red. She could put it into the yellow. Do that for all 4 wedding invitations, figuring out how many different colors they could go into, and then add them up. That's how many different combinations there are. So you have to figure it out. Party, holiday, bridal shower, wedding invitations, each one with a different colored envelope, and then count up how many you have. That is your answer. Why it makes sense is your work that you're doing. So you're showing your work that you did. You can't just do it in your brain and say, oh, it's going to be this number. You have to show me why your answer makes sense. You could either draw the arrow or you could write it out. If you did mental math, you would have to write out what math you did to get that answer. Our next page is that 5-card challenge. So think about that order of operations that we were working on with math objectives. We can use those order of operations to make it equal 10. And remember, Math 6 needs to have at least 12 points. You can have more. Challenge yourself to find more. Then we have our patterns. Oh, this one didn't come out in color. So, these were blues. This is blue. Well, this is yellow. And this is pink. So, the paper packets that you have are in color, but when I scanned it on the office scanner, it scanned it in black and white. So we're just going to remember. This is figure 1, figure 2, figure 3, figure 4. How many yellows are there? many blues are in figure 1?
Zero.
0. How many pinks? 0. So how many total blocks? 1. Look at figure 2. How many yellows are there? How many blues?
2.
How many pinks?
0.
How many total?
3.
Now look at figure 3. How many yellows?
1.
How many blues?
2.
How many pinks?
2.
How many total?
5.
Look at figure 4. How many yellows?
3.
Went up 2. How many blues?
2.
How many pinks?
2.
How many total?
7.
So we have to fill out all the way down to figure number 7. Sometimes we do this by finding the pattern. Sometimes we can do this by actually just drawing out some more figures. If we're having a hard time finding the pattern, you're going to draw it out. So figure 5, we knew that there was a yellow, and then there's the blues, and then there's the pinks, and then it starts over with the yellows. Now for figure 5, what are we going to add on? If it goes yellow, blue, pink, yellow, blues. So we're going to put 2 more blues on there. So we know that our yellows stayed the same. We added 2 blues, and our pink stayed the same. So we count them all up, and that is 9. By this point, you should see a pattern for your total numbers. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Can we figure out how many is going to be in the total for the next figure? Because we're going odd numbers. We're keep counting by odd numbers. We're adding 2 blocks every time. We also have patterns here. We can see that there's 3 where there's 1 yellow. Then we increased it by 2. Next one, the yellow still just had that 3. The next one, we're going to put 2 pinks on. So there's going to be how many yellows still? 3. So, but then that next one is when we put on 2 more yellows. So you have to look at it. You can draw out a figure 6 and a figure 7 to help you, or you can find the patterns and just increase those patterns. Keeping in mind, we know how many are supposed to be in that total box because we're counting those odd numbers. Are you just playing? Okay. All right. Next page. Finding the perimeter and the area. How do we find perimeter? What do we have to do to find a perimeter of something, Liam?
Out of all sides.
Add up all the sides. And we have numbers on every side. So we just need to add all the sides. So the perimeter is kind of easy for this one, just adding them all up. It's the area that gets goofy because it's a goofy shape. When we have a goofy shape, we need to break it into shapes that we know how to find the area. So I'm going to draw my line right here. And now I have a rectangle and a triangle. To find the area of a rectangle, we know that's length times width. Length times width. So we can find the area of the rectangle, and we'll put it in the middle here. Now we need to find the area of our triangle. So to find the area of the triangle, it's 1/2 base times height. So here's how we do this. This is our base on the bottom. If all the way across is 6 and the rectangle is 3, what is the base of the triangle? If the rectangle was 3, what is our triangle, Madeline? 3. Because 3 plus 3 gives us that total of 6. So we know our base is 3. Our height is this line right here. It's not the diagonal. Can we figure out the height of our triangle, Lilia? It's going to be that 4 feet because it's the same as that rectangle side. So we know our base was 3 feet. and our height is 4 feet. And then we have to multiply that by a half or divide it by 2. Then what do we do once we know the area of our triangle and we know the area of our rectangle? What do we have to do to find the total area? Layla? Add the 2 areas together to get your total area. So to do the areas, you find for your rectangle, then you find for your triangle, 1/2 of your base times your height. All right, our next page. It is that net, like we talked about in social studies, how we drew the net of our parfleche. We have to do the net of this rectangular prism. So remember, those nets are when we cut it to lay flat. So we have the bottom of our rectangular prism, we have a side, the top, and then we have the sides coming on, the sides going out. We're not done because we have to label it with our measurements. So we have to look, our bottom is 3 by 4. So we have 3 by 4, 3 by 4, right? So our top is going to be the same measurements. We talked about how that Kleenex box, the top and the bottom are the same. So now we need this side. So now we have 4. We already have our 4s labeled. So what is this measurement going to be? Zelda?
5.
5. Because our 4 and our 4 have to line up together. So it's going to be the same for this side. So if I have 4 right here, across from it has to be a 4. And if this goes up 5, then this has to go up 5. So now can we label this side? If we know this is a 3, across from it has to be a 3. And if we know this is a 5, the one that folds up next to it has to be a 5. And across from that 5 is the 5. So our 5 lines up with our 5. So here we've got our 3 with our 3. The 5 lines up with our 5. And the 5 lines up with our 5. So you see how we have to line up our measurements. Now we have to do the last part. Find the surface area. In order to find the surface area, you have to find the area of each face of that rectangular prism. So remember, to find the area of a rectangle, it's length times width. So length times width. What's 4 times 5?
20.
And here I have 4 times 5, so I know it's another 20. Here I have to do 3 times 4, 3 times 4, 3 times 5, and 3 times 5. What do I do with all of those areas? Hannah? I add all the areas up. That gives me my surface area. So I have to find all 6 areas of each of those faces, and then I add them for my surface area. And then I'm done with this page. Liam?
So do you multiply 5 times 3 and then do you add the other 5?
No. When you find an area, you just do one length and one width. Multiply length times width. That's it.
Oh, and then you don't do anything else.
Nope. Your area is just a length times a width. So for this one, we did 5 times 4 gave me 20 for my area. So it's just one length times one width. And then you add all of your areas up. That's our surface area. So let's look at our next page using that same rectangular prism. And this time we need to find the volume of it. To find the volume of a rectangular prism, everybody has to write this formula down. The volume for a rectangular prism is length times width times height. So this is our length, this is our width, this is our height. So when it says what calculation will you perform, length of 3 times our width of 4 times our height of 5. So that's your calculation. That's what you're going to put into your calculator. You have to write it. Now we have to say what is the volume. So you have to actually do the math and you put the answer right there. So you do the math and the answer goes on the line. It is going to be 3 centimeters that got multiplied, so it's centimeters cubed. Because we multiplied 3 centimeters together. So your measurement will be centimeters cubed. But you have to put what the actual answer is in front of that. Then for math 6, it says, what is the area of the largest face of the figure? So when you do, on that page before, when you were doing the surface, the area of each of those sides, put the one that was the largest. What was that area? So look back on the page before. If you found all of those areas, which side was the biggest number? That's your answer to put down here. Did you have a question, Ava?
Oh yeah.
Madison?
What if we like name like the if there was like the top? It's not the.
You don't have to put a name. You have to put the measurement. What is the area? So all you have to do is put what the area was that was the biggest. So the number, the biggest number that you found for the areas. Yes.
Where do we put it?
Right here. Your answer. Next page. Which time slot was most affected by the introduction of the 11 p.m. news? So our 11 p.m. news, I don't remember what colors these are. Yours were colored. This one is the 11 p.m. news. So it was added in May. Which of these other news times was affected the most? So as 11 p.m. viewership went up, which news dropped down? Because no, you're not going to tell me. You're going to write it. So which one was affected the most? Put it right here. Okay, which one dropped the most? Then our second question is, which time slot was least affected? Which time slot did people just keep watching? They didn't care. They put in an 11 o'clock time period. They just kept watching. They didn't stop watching. So it's going to be more of a straight line because it was not affected. So which one was not affected? You're going to put that answer right there. That's it. That's all we have to do. You have to look which one dropped the most when 11 p.m. news started in May, which one dropped, and which time stayed the same. And I think is that our last page? Okay, so if you're watching this at home, I hope you are well, and I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.